BTS is the most famous Korean boy group in the world. All of them are Korean, so they can show Korean identity and characteristics through their songs. Especially one thing that we need to pay attention to is that they are from various regions. Korea is consisted of 경기도, 강원도, 전라도, 충청도, 경상도, 제주도. Above all, Seoul is in 경기도. Jin and RM are from 경기도. Suga, Jimin, V and JK are from 경상도. And lastly, J-hope is from 전라도. They published a song with every dialect they have and their hometown's characteristic, named 팔도강산, where it is from, Ma City, utilizing their strengths that they are from diverse regions. The song is mostly consisted of 경상도 and 전라도's dialect and culture and battle between them, because Suga, who is from 경상도, and J-hope, who is from 전라도, led this song. This can show that 경상도 and 전라도's confrontation structure. From now on, we'll learn 경상도 and 전라도's confrontation structure through BTS, especially Suga and J-hope. 경상도 and 전라도, which have distinct regional colors, have long been rivals. However, their rival structure was not built for a long time. Korea has had a homogeneous culture for a long time. In 676 years, Silla unified Goguryeo and Baekje and made them into one country, and in 936 years, after Goryeo unified after Baekje, unified Silla after Goguryeo. Korea unified their race, religion, language, and have kept lasting as one country for almost 1,000 years. Of course, there is a great deal of communication and trade with other countries, as well as some discrimination against other regions. But there are no regional conflicts like between 경상도 and 전라도, just like these days. Even if we have that kind of conflict, in urgent situations, they used to overcome the national crisis by joining forces. Korea was forcibly absorbed into Japan in 1910. For 36 years, Korea had been under Japanese control. Unfortunately, the Korean War broke out almost immediately after independence. The Korean War is an ideology conflict between the North, which includes the Soviet Union and China, and the South, which includes the United States, set against the backdrop of the Cold War's unique era. For Koreans who have lived as one nation for a long time, war and territorial and racial divisions are a little shock. As a result, the Korean War suppressed every class and ideological conflict that had lasted at the time in Korea. Also, discussion about class and ideology were frowned upon because even mentioning socialism in Korea triggered Korean War trauma. At the time, the president was President Park Chung-hee. He is a person who has received conflicting review among all Korean presidents. He was a dictator and suppressed democratization, but revived the crumbling Korean economy, which suffered trauma from the Japanese colonial rule and the Korean War. President Park exploited this situation to unify South Korea and consolidated his regime under the ban of anti-communism. So at the time, the power of the state was enormous. Nobody could dare to raise their voice against the government. In the process, regional-based economic development took place. Because of this regional-based economic development, the Gyeongsangdo region achieved explosive economic growth, but in contrast, the Jeollado region did not benefit from the economic development. In fact, this is related to Korea's economic development situation at the time. During the 1960s and 70s, Korea's main export line was the Pacific Line, which connected to Japan's and the United States lines. As a result, there are many heavy chemical industries in the Gyeongsangdo region, which is geographically close to Japan and make it easier to travel to and from the United States. Thanks to this, Busan Port and Ulsan Port could become global ports. But Gyeongsangdo and Jeollado's income gap began to keep increasingly, and Jeollado was also estranged from the central ministry elite. Then Kim Dae-jung appeared against President Park. At the time, President Park was in power for a long time. Kim Dae-jung could stop him from taking power again. So President Park used the regional emotion to win the election. But President Park barely won the 1971 election despite mobilizing massive amounts of money, manpower, and regional emotion. However, because of his regional emotion strategy, he could easily win the election in Gyeongsangdo. Then, the Gwangju democratization movement took place in the year 1980. The Gwangju democratization movement is the incident where Mr. Chun Do-hwan staged a coup and took over the region by force after President Park died. The suppressed people of Gwangju opposed him by force. Mr. Chun suppressed the media, announced false news that the Red in Gwangju rioted. At the time, socialists and the Red are frightening words for Koreans who have experienced the trauma of the Korean War. Simultaneously, in Jeollado, the rumors that the Gyeongsangdo soldiers came to Gwangju to exterminate all Jeollado people kept spreading. Because at the time, most of the senior military officials, including Mr. Chun, were from Gyeongsangdo. As a result, regional tensions between Gyeongsangdo and Jeollado erupted into violence. Then conflict between Gyeongsangdo and Jeollado had been expressed explosively in the 1997 presidential election. At the time, there were three candidates, Kim Young-sam, Kim Dae-jung, and Kim Jong-pil. We call them Sam-Kim. Their election strategy was carried out with each of the native regions, each Gyeongsangdo, Jeollado, and Chungcheongdo, exploiting regional emotion politically. Using regional emotion is the only way to express themselves since they have a similar political base and need each other's distinctive something. As a result of a political election strategy, Korea's unique regional sentiment and color theory created a schism between the people of Gyeongsangdo and Jeollado and deepened their emotional growth. But fortunately, these regional emotions are fading in comparison to the past. We can find out this example through Suga and J-hope. They are from Gyeongsangdo and Jeollado, but are in a good mood. They even once made their own unit named Hwagejangto, which is the market that symbolizes Gyeongsangdo and Jeollado's harmony. Like Suga and J-hope, I hope to see an integrated Korea that transcends regional emotion while retaining the distinct characteristics of each region. And thanks for watching this video, and please don't forget to click the subscribe and the like button.